welcome to News Updates on VOS TV. Well, this is a new edition and it actually contains news that have been happening during the week, and then we just get to talk about it and do a little news review. And today we'll be looking at the case of Abba Kyari. I mean, this is a cop that we all know, a cop that has been labeled a super cop, and then there are cases or there are issues alleging him of committing a fraudulent crime. Well, I'm not the only one in this studio today. I'm talking about Solomon Idiobe.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having me on your set.
Okay, the case of Abba Kyari actually, it started this week, and where Hushpuppi actually mentioned him as one of his accomplices in a crime. And now I'm wondering, because the media has been rushing, there has been this buzz in the media, a lot of persons are asking questions, eyebrows are raising, a lot of persons are pondering, Nigerians are wondering. I mean, we all know that a panel has been created or has been put together to actually probe this man. But Nigerians are wondering, first of all, is this man guilty or not guilty?
Guilt cannot be determined for now.
Okay.
For now, we can rest at the level of accusations.
Okay.
I don't think that the Nigerian police set up a probe panel.
Okay.
Because here, I don't understand what people call probe. But I know that the IGP set up an investigative panel. Okay. In Nigeria, we must be very careful on the kind of words we use. Because when you say probe, you'll be thinking about having to look in-depthly into so many things and unravel so many things. I can assure you that Nigerian police is not ready to look into so many things. They're only going to, when they say investigate, they mean they're just looking at the matter. Yeah. But when you say probe, it may go beyond the issues raised.
No, I came across something online, actually, that probing, I'm actually not...
We're in Nigeria, forget the grammar. You see, let me tell you, I as much as I have faith in Nigeria will get better tomorrow, I don't believe so much in the leadership of the Nigerian states. Okay. With all due respect.
Why so?
Because they are a faith government, because they are faith people. They are not leaders, they are leaders. They are not people who you can trust. People who make promises and forget their promises. People who have left gaps between promises and performance. People who over time has left the people, you know, in wilderness. Moses took the people, you know, through the wilderness. But the Nigerian government took us from, you know, the land of milk and honey into the wilderness, and they've left us there. So I don't, you see, when I saw the issue of investigations, only a few days ago, I also saw where your AGF, Attorney General of the Federation, saying that he's not aware officially that Hushpuppi has a court order from the United States. So point I'm making is that as we speak, practically, the federal government is already washing off their hands that he has no case to answer. Now, and in another vein, the Police Service Commission has suspended him under the advice of the IGP. So, doesn't it look? We see, unfortunately, ask me, Solomon Idiobe, where are we? I'll tell you, we are in an animal farms within a zoo area. Okay. Because here in Nigeria, many animals, most animals who tag themselves honorable leaders are more, you know, valuable and more bigger above the law than others.
Okay. Well, one political philosopher actually said that we are political animals. And on that note, that what you have said, you said that the Nigerian government are actually washing off their hands from this case. Now, my question is, and you also mentioned the AGF saying he's not aware of the Abba Kyari's case. Now, I'm wondering, so is Nigeria, or the Nigerian government rather, ready to give out Abba Kyari to the US based on their indictment on him? Or are they waiting for something else that we Nigerians are not even aware of?
Let me put it in prospect.
Okay.
The AGF comment read clearly that there will be no transmission or extradition, if you like, or, you know, transfer of the super cop Abba Kyari to the United States until there is a correspondence, until there is a document of court, you know, that the US said they have against Abba Kyari, that's his comment. So by so doing, it's clear that the federal government is not willing to send Abba Kyari to the United States.
Investigative panel that was created.
That is why I said Nigeria is like the more you look, the less you see. Now let me tell you, I will not be surprised in 6 months if Abba Kyari is not taken to the US. He will be promoted to AIG, not Commissioner of Police now. You know, he's Deputy Commissioner of Police as we speak. Yes. I will not be surprised if Abba Kyari in another 1 year will not get chieftaincy title from the southeast, the southwest, and the south-south.
Okay.
I will not be surprised. I'm telling you that he will not be given big titles and big names, because that's how the Nigerian state, unfortunately. I was taken aback when I read on social media some group of persons saying that he's being victimized because he's a northern person, and you see, I just asked myself, a man who said, I didn't know that Abba Kyari was a tailor, because if you say you collected 300,000 naira from Hushpuppi to sew dress, I don't know, you know, I didn't know that he now deals on textile materials. The point I'm making here is that directly or indirectly, the man has indicted himself. You know, let's not mess us here. You had a deal. What the United States government has said, they've not said you are totally guilty. They are investigating, and the investigation has led to you. Come and answer to the issues as well, because Hushpuppi has committed a crime against the United States government. And they're investigating, and the investigation is leading to you a super cop. You are not an unknown person.
Yeah.
You are, in quote, a super cop.
Yes.
You know, but here we are.
Should we not be worried because this man, after giving the name, the praises of being a super cop, and has actually detained a lot of persons before and handled a lot of cases, is there any need for us to go back and do our own research again if those persons are actually guilty, or if there is something under the carpet that those persons didn't give him that made him actually handed them over to the government?
Chibuzo's case is a case in point now. The man who today we are aware that was detained on the instruction of Hushpuppi. Yeah. But that's just to tell you one. Today I don't know the case of Evans, in quote, the super kidnapper Evans, because he's also the super cop who busted it.
Yes, and how long he stayed in court.
Now, so many things. Let me just tell you how the Nigerian system works. If Hushpuppi, imagine an Abba Kyari now being tagged to a Hushpuppi. Imagine again if Hushpuppi was arrested by Nigerian government, that you will not have a case of missing file, non-appearance in courts, discharge of matter due to lack of due diligence, escape from prisons, prison break, and all that stories as you always see. And you arrest 1, 2, 3 police officers. They were lackadaisic. They were the ones on duty, and after 2, 3 months, you don't hear stories. They divert your attention. Now, I'm just saying that to corroborate the fact that in Nigeria, anything goes. The EndSARS saga should have been an eye-opener to you before asking me if we are not sure. Because if you don't remember, I will remind you that the same Abba Kyari was in major cause of the EndSARS saga, because he was at the forefront of the special anti-robbery squad. They were the ones ravaging the town. You know, IGP special team and all that. They were the ones.
Well,
so the point I'm making is that if you don't know, I'm an activist.
Okay.
Before the EndSARS saga started, a coalition of civil society organizations across the country had signed a petition against Abba Kyari over his activities, because the law does not permit you to take life in the course of performing your duty. Yes. It's regarded as jungle justice. Yes. You are only requested to arrest persons and prosecute them, because you are not in a banana republic. But what we found out and what we saw, of course we know that some of these criminals are ruthless in their manners. Their commando style. Imagine the advance who just goes to their victim, kidnap you. If they are not able, they take your life, sniff life out of you. Naturally, the natural mentality of every man is that when such a person is just captured, kill him. That's jungle justice.
Yes.
You are using evil to do evil. No, but the law is different. The law's position is that he is only a suspect. You bring him before the law. You look at the relevant sections concerning his actions and deeds and apply them and punish him accordingly. The punishment could be capital, if you like, major or minor punishment. But what we saw, or what we have seen over time, is that the law enforcement agents take laws into their hands. Imagine the sting operations, in quotes, by the Department of State on Sunday Igboho's apartment. People's rights were violated. We are not saying do not carry out your operations, but carry it out within the dictates of the law. Because you are a law enforcement agent. You should not be lawbreakers. But so what we are seeing over time in Nigeria is that law enforcement agents, as it's supposed to be, are lawbreakers. Okay. So I don't know what you intend to get from me, but of course we know that again and again, the likes of Abba Kyari is just one of the many of them there.
Okay.
Has broken the laws that he's supposed to be protecting.
Okay, you have said a lot about how the government has failed in most cases, and then how things comes and goes, and how Nigerians are actually losing faith. You even described this country as an animal farm. So, from your own perspective, what do you think that the government, or what do you suggest that the government should do? Because I know a lot of persons are watching now. It's not only about talking about how the government has failed, but what do you suggest? And please, I know that a lot of times you have made suggestions and it's like nobody's listening. But we want persons to know that, okay, the case of Abba Kyari is not just a come and go. That's why the social media is still carrying it on and on and on and on. So we are trying to see how much we could do with this case.
You're asking me what I think the federal government should do. In what case? In the case of the Nigerian state
Abba
or
Kyari.
Abba Kyari? You know, Nigeria has a treaty. We have, of course we are a country. We must protect our territorial integrity. Things must be done according to the rules of the game, to the rule of law. What we would expect is that the Nigerian government should follow the normal dictates of the law. If Abba Kyari is requested by a country like the United States, of course, do the needful. I'm not saying that because the US have just announced on air, they should just follow. But, I mean, US is not the only country that, does extradition. Nigerians, I mean, we can see the case of...
Are there no processes to be followed?
Nigerians should do the needful. That's the point I'm making. I don't want to start saying certain things. You could go to Kenya, according to you, and kidnap, sorry if you like, extradite the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
You could go to Cameroon and want to pick, what's his name? The other man that they were looking for. So the point I'm making is that now the US is also asking you, bring this one for us because he has committed a crime against us.
Okay.
I expect the Nigerian government to do the needful.
Well, we have
a law, they have laws, we have treaties, we have understanding. Well, I mean, Nigeria, this same Buhari government in the 80s is recorded to have created a human being in the name of Umaru Diko, as it then was, not using the treaty, though, as it were. So, but now we are saying, if you understand how it could be to get some persons who have violated the rights and laws of your land, oblige the US what they've asked, follow it up. If you hand them Abba Kyari, follow up the investigation process in the United States and ensure that he's not victimized and ensure that he faces the investigations the way it should go, and you do your internal investigations as well.
Well, you agree with me that the case of the IPOB leader is totally different from that of Abba Kyari. I mean, the other one was actually leading or creating a nation, while Abba Kyari was just
how would you say how
accused
the same? See, no, please, don't you are no. They see, listen. No, listen.
If you say that,
listen. That please, I beg to differ, please. Is it because the Nigerian government declare the IPOB leader a terrorist that makes him a terrorist? What about the headers who are beheading people in the farm? Has Nnamdi Kanu been caught once carrying guns and killing people in the bush or along the streets? You said he's making succession move. His announcement, his communications, his views are inciting violence. Treat him accordingly.
But that was why the investigative panel was created, and he's been investigated.
I can tell you, Mieti Allah has made one statement than Nnamdi Kanu has. I'm not an Igbo man, but I'm saying what is good and what is bad is bad. Don't cover some and leave some. Do you know what have led to secessionist movements in Nigeria? It's because the government has become irresponsible. They are not responsive for the yearnings and aspirations of the people. These people are suffering. What is asking? Why are the Yoruba people asking for a Yoruba nation? They are saying people are ravaging our lands. Our mothers, our fathers, our siblings are dying in the bushes by the day. If that is the case, we want to go. Dialogue. Hear their cries. Listen to their pains. But if you tell them to attend to Israel, that's what's leading to all of this. Who says that you cannot discuss with the Igbo nations? But when you tell them to look, people, I grew up in this town. They've been Fulanis before now. They've been Hatters before now. Look, it's a common saying that if you get to a community, there's no Igbo man, there's no Coca-Cola, leave that place because something is happening there. Because everywhere you go, you must see a header. We grew up with them. So what has changed? Okay, I'll tell you what has changed.
Okay, go ahead.
What was not happening then was there was no aiding and abetting. What is happening now is that there is aiding, there is abating.
All right. We do know that the government has actually defaulted in some areas that they're supposed to meet the needs of the citizens. But for me to compare the case of Abba Kyari and that of the IPOB leader, that is uncalled for, because this is a different...
It is the creation of the federal government. Why would you declare IPOB leader terrorist? Yoruba secessionist, a problem. And you are not declaring those who are making... We are in this country. People from the northern extractions have threatened the government. Do you remember when Akeredolu came to say he is banning night grazing in his state? People came out to say they will make Ondo State ungovernable for him. Is that not a threat? When I'm making is that, yes, I may not be in support of some of the actions of Nnamdi Kanu and some of the pronouncements he made.
All right.
But that is not to say that the federal government has not erred or has not failed. And that is not to justify the federal government declaring IPOB a terrorist group. Because for me, I have not seen when IPOB left the southeast, their area, go to southwest, northwest or northeast to go killing people. Before you say they are terrorists, you should have fact. You see, for me, I have my reservations over the ways and manners the Nigerian government are handling issues that concern certain extractions in this country. They make people, some persons feel that they are not a part of the Nigerian state. You see, let me tell you, if today somebody tries to look down on you, you want to prove a point. And so, in your thinking, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. You can only tell me that you cannot equate the actions of the IPOB and that of the Boko Haram. I will agree with you. You want to equate the actions of the Boko Haram and that of the IPOB. They are not the same.
Of course not. Of course not.
They are not the same. You want to equate the actions of the Niger Delta Avengers or the Niger Delta militant to that of the IPOB, or to that of the Boko Haram terrorists.
Of course
they are
not
not the same. These people have an agitation. What are the Southeastern, the IPOB people asking for? They are asking to be freed. It is a thing you can discuss. They said they need a Biafra state. You can discuss it. My brothers, this is not possible. But when you choose, okay, look, if you live in a family unit, and perhaps your younger sibling is asking you for something, or you want to collect something from a younger sibling, and you are using force, the little boy or little girl would want to die with you. But I'm sure if you discuss having what he or she has, I'm sure you could have a way out without he or she having to cry over it. Now, the point I'm making is that over time, can you even think about it? That the Nigerian Senate, that the Nigerian House of Representatives, those who call themselves legislators, that people like us, please take to be legislators, will sit down and pass PIB, Petroleum Industry Bill, and say those who produce oil.
We are looking at the case
should take.
Abba Kyari.
It's the same thing. I'm telling you how people are treated. That those who do not have oil should take 30%, and those who have oil should take. So the issues.
I believe that you have been able to air your view.
Yeah,
and a lot of Nigerians watching us right now have actually heard you, and you have been able to air your view. I will have to let you go now. It's really nice to have you here. Like it's nice having you here. Because of time.
Yes,
because of time, I really have to let you go. Because of time. Thank you so much for coming. You have said a lot, and I believe a lot of Nigerians and the Nigerian government have actually heard you. Coming up next are some more news information for you and more news update, and we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to the news update on VOS TV. Thank you so much for staying tuned. The appeal by the federal government to striking resident doctors to return to work seem to have fallen on deaf ears, as the striking doctors have refused to resume. President of the association, Uyilawa Uhiaisui, said to the federal government has no moral justification to ask them to go back to work, having breached several agreements reached in the past. This is the fourth time the resident doctors will boycott their duty this year.
A father will not tell his son to go back to work when you have not done what you are supposed to do. An MOA was signed on the 31st of March, and addendum to that was done on the 9th of April for basic things meant mostly for federal institutions, not for states.
For the second time this year, residents in parts of Taraba State have been hit by heavy flooding occasioned by torrential rainfall. Houses, cars, business premises worth several millions of naira have been submerged in water. Even a 17-year-old boy was washed away by the flood.
All of a sudden we were here, the place was just flooded. So in between there was a car here that the water moved. Before you know, fences started falling. Even the whole fence of my house was down. Then all of a sudden, some of the things that we were not able to get because of the flood, we just saw guys from nowhere entering the water to pick them up. And when you want to claim your property, they tell you that it's their own. They came, they followed it from elsewhere to pick them.
Our government are not helping matters. They need to sensitize people on how to settle. Yes. Sometimes they need to organize, even if it's a seminar or even if it's an awareness program, to create awareness, tell people this is water channel. Educate them. You don't need to settle here because floods may still come and affect you.
We'll send them food and some blankets, net and so forth to be able to cushion the suffering of the families. And that is why I decided to come to see for myself. But the major problem is drainage. Reduce drainage because the volume of water that is coming is far more than the drainage provided, which is worsened by the ducts that they put in the culverts. This is a major problem. We are going to ask the urban development to provide more buckets, dumping waste buckets to all over across this place that you see, so that children can dump their waste there and not inside the drainage.
And that's the news update on VOS TV. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Bye.